Welcome back to the Messy RealiTea Breakdown with your host, Ray.
And your girl, Lily.
This is the podcast where we break down our favorite reality shows in the name of fun, shade, and a splash of messiness. Welcome back to a new season with Ray and I. First of all, Ray, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. What about you? What about yourself?
Well, I can't complain. Of course, we're going to jump right into it, but I just want to say I'm really excited about this season in particular because since we've started this podcast, we've been covering shows of the past, shows that have already aired. This is the first time that Ray and I are going to attempt to cover shows that are on live. And it's like we're doing a full circle moment, right? Because what was the first show that we ever covered when we first started this podcast?
Season 1 of Real Housewives of Potomac.
And so now we're back, and this time we are covering season 8. And yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. We might be a little bit more off the script, a little bit more than usual, but you know what? That's fine because that's us. You know, we're chaotic anyways, correct? Especially me. I can't speak for Ray, but
I dabble here and there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of the chaotic one between the two of us, but I want to jump right into it. Let's start with, first of all, like I said, it's season 8, episode 1, and the name of this episode, let me see if I can pull it up, is Projections and Deflections. Right?
It is. It's hard to stop laughing. It's because of the... Lily was talking about the title possibly. It should be called Dixon Dilemmas.
Well, I thought that that's what it was because I was looking up an article and it was on Vulture, and the title is The Real Housewives of Potomac Season Premiere Recap, Dixon Dilemmas. And honestly, that's all that this episode was about. And I'm almost curious, are they going to hyper focus on Robyn Dixon and Juan Dixon's marriage for the entire season?
I feel like they are, but I hope not. But I feel like they will be, because that's been like the biggest thing post the last season's reunion after all the stuff came out. And I feel like they really want to showcase like the outcome of all that.
Yeah, I think that that'll definitely be like the nucleus that holds the season together. And I don't mean that like in the best way. Because, you know, as we saw this episode tonight, you see that Giselle is attempting to open up a little bit more. And I'll get into that. You know, Candace, I don't know what her storyline is going to be, except for maybe about her career. I can't really catch what Karen's season will be about. Did you catch anything?
Well, she didn't really have anything going on this episode. I mean,
It's the first episode.
Yeah, so it's like we got a glimpse of most of the women and what they have going on. So do you want to just start out by going by each, housewife, or you just want to just go by scene? Like, how do you want to do it?
Let's just do it in scene order. So, of course, when they first started it off, first, I want to say, and I really can't speak to the other productions of the other housewife shows because I've only really seen bits and pieces of some of them and mainly watched Atlanta Housewives. And I will say that my favorite seasons of the Atlanta Housewives was mainly when Carlos King produced it. But I want to say shout out to the production for Potomac, because you can tell that even if these heifers ain't got nothing going on in their storylines, production is really going to try their best to give us just great editing. I think there was only one time that I wasn't appreciative of the amount of effort that they put behind it. And I think that they heard the feedback and they've been going hard ever since. So this was like the preview and the trailer that we'd already seen, which was Potomac proper. You kind of see the sitcom and, you see Ashley revealing her new friends. What did you think about her updated look?
So is this in the Potomac proper scene or in her?
Yeah, the Potomac. Well, either or, but definitely referring to the Potomac proper scene.
It's, I don't even know. I mean, it's Ashley.
Well then.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, her style is kind of unique. It fits her.
So I guess you did think about it. Well, moving on. So in this.
What did you think then, since she wrote it?
You know, it was definitely, I mean, I'll say, and it's not just Ashley, I think that the ladies look really good this season. And I'll tell you my favorite, like, updated look, and I think that every single season they look better each time, is Karen.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Karen season 8 is not the same Karen that we saw in season 1, but I think that she is always the main cast member who evolves her look each season, and it's always in the best way possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's like when I saw that dinner scene with her and Candace and Wendy, I'm like, yeah, Karen really looks good. Like,
I wrote that down. I said, damn. Even the wig is looking better. Like,
and even Wendy, like, I feel like she's also looks good too. I think ever since, and it's not to say she was bad looking before the surgery, I feel like ever since she had the BBL, that she, I don't know, like her style, I like her style. It fits well. Like, I think she knows how to wear I don't know. She knows how to wear. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I think that when she was introduced to us, which, by the way, this means nothing. Just because you have a baby, you're still fabulous. And Wendy came in fabulous. I don't think that she necessarily needed the surgery, but it definitely enhanced the beauty that already existed. But I think that maybe that first season she was coming, you know, fresh out of just having her, her third baby girl? Or her third baby, which has, you know, is a girl. And I think she probably took a look at herself and she was like, you know, I'm cute, but I can go a little bit harder. And so, you know, we saw when she, what are the name? Happy and Ness and something, whatever the name
something like, Happy and Ness.
Yeah. And so she definitely, I would put her and Karen in the same category, as in, it's just every season you see them, they always update their look, and it's always for the better. But of course, in this Potomac proper, we see that Ashley introduces her friend. I can't remember what the lady's name was. I'm sorry. But to be honest with you, she and Wendy kind of look alike. So I'm kind of curious how that's going to play out. You saw that they highlighted with Wendy saying, no, it wasn't Wendy. Somebody said that Wendy's mother is putting voodoo on that woman, though.
I think that was the new housewife.
Oh, so she just said it herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to kind of see. And then, let's see what else. Of course, you see Juan and Robyn going through their thing in this Potomac proper. But very great setup, even though they'd already, you know, it was a preview. And I had already told Ray, I've been trying my best to not look at anything or see anything that's going to spoil the season, because I've noticed in the past that the blogs leak out too much of what's happening in the show. And so by the time you watch it, you're already bored, or you're just like, there's no surprises. So I literally want to watch this with fresh eyes. I know that Raymond has already looked at the taglines. Is that what they're called, taglines?
Yeah, the taglines, which we're not going to do now since they didn't introduce to this episode.
Yeah. And I still don't know what they said. I saw it online and I like hurry up and scrolled away on Instagram. I just like to watch, because I don't watch that much television, so I really want to be genuinely surprised. But yeah, so I enjoyed the Potomac proper. What did you think about the whole edit?
I really enjoyed the edit when after they left the proper, they made it like spooky, or I would say like it gave me like true crime vibes.
Well, no, that was Potomac proper. Then they shifted, and that's what
I said. After Potomac proper, you spoke too soon. Now, no, but really, it was just funny too how it's like, you know, they shifted that kind of true crime dark vibe and just talks about the events like after the reunion. Well, they talked about Robyn and Giselle talking about the situation on the podcast.
Reasonably shady.
And then we see a clip when Robyn was on Watch What Happens Live and Andy was questioning her, grilling her about why she wasn't upfront about that on the show. And
I want to say something. The more and more that I think about it, I feel like Robyn and Juan, it's like they have a PR marriage or something. And I feel like when she was on Watch What Happens Live, she just gives you these very strong, like, PR answers. Like, what can I say to get out of this interview as quickly as possible and just continue to deflect and make up excuses for him?
Well, it's funny you mention that because I mean, she used to work in PR. So it's like, I feel like she
Ah.
knows how to, again, deflect, but it just comes across as like very obvious.
Dismissive.
It's not done well. Um, so we see Juan come in the house. You know, actually, before that, you know, she's on her couch. She's cutting up pictures of her kids.
And can I just say real fast, all of this feels staged. Continue.
Yeah. It feels like a Lifetime movie. But anyway. So,
a low budget one.
The lonely housewife. Or the revengeful housewife. But anyway.
I doubt she's actually it's not getting revengeful.
So she's on the couch, taking pictures of the kids, putting them in, whatever. She's doing that. And then Juan comes in. He has a package. And he brings, they're like, oh no, hey, how's it going? You know, they greet each other and he comes to the couch and that's when they start.
I'm so sorry. It's just as you're telling me this, I'm having flashbacks because like they kissed each other and I know that they're married, but like we've never seen them show that much PDA previously.
But I feel like too, when they first started the show, they were really on good terms, right? They were divorced.
Yeah.
So it's like we never saw that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just.
So yeah, he comes in, he gives her a kiss because you know he ain't got no job right now. But continue.
Yeah. So they talk about, well, you know, they just go right into it and talk about the situation about the woman at the hotel. And Robyn, honestly, in this whole scene was just like, again, she was just not making a big deal out of it. I think a lot of it just to save face. And just because she doesn't want to look embarrassed.
I mean, honestly, if she's trying, she's not trying hard enough because unfortunately your man has embarrassed you. And he's been embarrassing you for seasons now, to be honest. It may not be as bad as what Ashley's had to deal with, but I feel like Robyn is just not in... The relationship doesn't come off genuine. And I always feel like, is it for the sake of your children? You know what I mean? And also, her husband was in the I'm not in the WNBA. Not me lying. Juan was in the NBA. And unfortunately, and I'm not going to say that he's done this. I'm just going to say this. Or I'm not going to speculate. I'm just saying in general. NBA players don't have the best track record for being faithful. You know what I'm saying? Like... One of probably the most expensive divorces of their time was Michael Jordan and his wife Juanita. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know if that was based off of cheating, but I wouldn't be surprised. But that's just what they're known for, you know? And so being a part of that lifestyle that comes along with it. And so a part of me wonders, is she dismissive because either A, Juan is trying to protect his image and he has, you know, conversations about things behind the scenes saying, yo, don't really talk about this. And or B, is it because she's probably already dealt with this? And plus we know that one of the reasons why they divorced the first time is because of, you know, infidelity. So
I think in terms of his image, I mean, it's kind of hard to, I don't know, maybe at this point be rehabilitated or save. Like
he definitely can't save face, but I was going to say, I think the same way that Wendy has to be careful about how she makes moves because of her association with the university that she works at. It's kind of like when he was associated with, was it Copeland? I'm not from Maryland, so I don't pay attention to colleges.
It's like Coppin State.
Whatever. Coppin, whatever. Shout out to y'all. But I think that I feel like he had to kind of protect because he's associated with the university. So it's not a good look.
And there was just so much, like, so there was the woman at the hotel, and then there was the woman, I guess his colleague or former colleague, he was at the laundromat with washing clothes. And then there was
the nail salon.
Yeah, the nail salon. And then they talked about the case with the player in the university and how Robyn was saying, well, yeah, like, that's not... The reason why you got fired wasn't because of that, and he's saying it's because of lost games. But I mean, again, we don't really know a lot about the case, but I feel like it's both. But a lot of it, I feel like in my opinion, just based on what I've heard or read, I feel like he does take kind of responsibility somewhat in that situation with the basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I will say I do not blame either him or Robyn for being careful about talking about that subject, because it is an active lawsuit. So that I really don't blame them for being careful.
Oh, sorry, this is all alleged.
All alleged, of course. And I really don't blame them for being careful, you know.
Yeah.
And also out of respect for the person who is the victim in it as well. Like, I think that they do need to be a little bit more tight-lipped about that. But in regards to the whole, there was a woman that was in Canada at a hotel and she forgot her credit card, and so you had to pay for it. What?
And also, even within that, there was two things that didn't make sense to me or really caught me off guard, whatever. Is when they re-showed the scene about like the hotel thing, like I'm thinking to myself, why did he have to even go to the hotel to put it to to use his card? Couldn't he just have been, the hotel could have called him, he could have called the hotel and they gave him the information.
Or he
could have that card on file.
Bad, sis, I ain't got it.
Yeah. And then also one thing that like, I was like, really? I was like, what? Is when Robyn said, well, I mean, oh my gosh, she was like, well, I mean, what if you did like sleep with her? Like, do you remember she was saying that? She said
was
that.
Like, with who? And she was like, the woman, like, so
yeah,
I don't.
And I'm just like, why?
Trying to figure out the logic behind like, why would you even bring up that scenario?
So it was very weird. It was very forced, I feel.
The conversation was uncomfortable overall to see them discuss it. But also because, like you said, it feels forced. It felt staged. I felt like they were doing a PR scene. Because also, like, the Bravo, as far as, like, Andy and the Watch What Happens Live and the people on social media, like, we were not pleased or thrilled with Robyn. And I know it's very easy to say, well, she doesn't owe that to us, but she is on a reality show. And you had Candace being put under the wire, or whatever you want to call it, under the ringer, about her marriage. You did it to Ashley. You did it to Monique. You did it to Karen. You did it to... I don't know if they really did it to Charisse. I think Charisse was very open about hers when it was her turn. But all of these women have been put in... Oh, Wendy. All of these women have been scrutinized about their marriages. And Robyn, the best thing you could say is, well, I was waiting for Karen to bring it up first.
It's like, really, Robyn?
Yeah. It's like, I feel for Robyn, mainly because life is short. And I think that she's a very beautiful woman. And I feel like she deserves better. And I don't ever want her to feel like she has to go through life settling for someone who does not really respect her or sees her as an equal. And I'm going to be bringing up Kenya Moore a lot in conversation tonight. But I think that there's so many Kenya Moore elements when it comes to a lot of these women. So I'm going to say with Robyn, and I'm going to move off of this intro, I just feel like just the fact that it doesn't feel authentic, the relationship. Like, you remember when Kenya from Real Housewives of Atlanta, when she had got married, and you remember, like, they had that fist pound with her and her husband Mark on the island?
I didn't watch that season.
Oh,
which season was that?
You didn't. Well, I think it was in the blogs as well, but it just felt really like, like, just I feel like Robyn and Juan had true romance when they first got together and when they were young and had puppy love. And I know that sometimes you evolve and everything, but I don't know. I think she deserves better. I want to see her do better.
There's definitely a lot more I want to say about the situation, but I think we get that. I mean, I feel like I want to talk about that at the end in terms of the sit down.
Okay, sure.
The intervention. So
yeah, absolutely.
The next scene was, we see again Karen, Candace, and Wendy meet up for lunch, and they just talk about catch up and see what's going on in their lives. And they again talk about the Robyn situation. And then Candace just talks about how she feels betrayed by her. It's like, what is she like? She does that thing, the projection.
Yeah.
She was projecting like, her own issues without talking about it, but she wanted to bring other people's issues in the forefront.
I mean, Candace pretty much is saying that she's being a freaking hypocrite. Like,
yeah,
I appreciate you for supporting me and standing up for my marriage last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel like Robyn low-key backpedaled a little bit. I don't know.
She did backpedal. I mean, well, actually, we can also talk about that too, because also when we see Candace and Chris together in their picnic, she even talks about that. Like, yeah, you did have her back, but you backpedaled because she, in that instance in the last season's reunion, she said, let's just admit that it's kind of weird that a married man is in an apartment with another woman. Which is, I mean, obviously ironic.
But Chris is not a stranger to any of the women on the cast. And I believe Chris over the whole Juan situation.
Yeah, I mean, that whole... Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that whole situation was just really messed up.
And we spent a full season. Like, that was a waste of everyone's time. Like, that was my least favorite season, which was last season. Because they spent so much time, and by they, I really mean Giselle, on this whole... And honestly, I will eat my words because, listen, I do believe women. But even in the reunion, they were talking about how it seems like the thing is, it's more of how he made you feel, not necessarily what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know. But yeah, Candace is not really that thrilled about it. Karen feels some type of way because she said that she's good with most of the women in the group, but the only person that she's still kind of beefing with is Robyn. And I know they had some words. Where did they go to? Did they go to Mexico or something last season?
Something. Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they had some words there. So I think that, things are still a little raw.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
I wonder, how long was this? Like, after the reunion to filming this season, how many months?
They said 3 months.
3 months. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, oof.
And I mean, that's probably was their first time getting back together. From filming. And yeah, but I think that Karen might have said it, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, it was Candace. Candace said she didn't really appreciate the fact that Karen was saying, that Robyn said she was waiting for Karen to bring it up. And why would you think that Karen would bring it up out of all of the women? Like, I know that they stay hearing what's, the word on the street. So
she probably thought it because, again, Robyn, they don't like each other. So she was like, well, Karen's probably going to bring it up just to shit on me. So I was waiting for her to do it. Again, it's not really, it's a dumb reason and excuse because she knows Giselle isn't going to say anything. She has all the energy for all the other women, but Robyn, that's her dog, whatever. And
I want to bring this up too, though, because two of the biggest criticisms of the show is that Giselle doesn't open up enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that Robyn is always following, or even each other. They always don't really hold each other accountable. It's like they're each other's, I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but that dynamic that Robyn.
Green Eye Bandits, freaking frack.
Yeah, they just have that dynamic that really drives you crazy as a viewer. And I think that I wonder if Bravo had a conversation with them last season and was like, you will be demoted to friend of if y'all don't get y'all's act together. Like,
yeah,
you need to open up more. And Robyn, you're not going to get away with not opening up. We're going to make sure that you open up about what the hell happened last season. I
actually think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that you chose not to share.
I actually think they probably did do that. I think because given the backlash that happened last season, a lot of people calling it out. Because remember, even the colorism conversation that was happening for years, they finally brought it out that last season.
Which I'm still pissed off about.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad. They
They
should have had
needed a
an actual
mediator.
person, yeah, who actually has, studied
And I just
colorism.
want to say this really fast too,
Mhm,
because anytime a new season is going to premiere of a show, Bravo shows like old episodes. So I was kind of like listening to the old reunions as background noise
mhm,
before this season came on. But it was like they had the whole conversation, and I say that in air quotes, about
mhm,
colorism. And then maybe moments later, Candace gets upset with Giselle. This is during the reunion, and she was like, "You're white looking privilege ass," or something crazy.
mhm.
And they're like, "Yo, I don't think that what you're saying is conducive to the previous conversation we just had about colorism." So it's
Mhm.
like clearly the conversation was not effective, and he really didn't get it. And also, you cannot talk about colorism in a segment and then move forward.
No. Mm-mm.
I just feel like they really mishandled how they addressed it, and I don't know, but hopefully by at least bringing it up for a moment,
Mhm,
hopefully those who are of lighter skin privilege will be more conscientious, because I don't think that
mhm,
they were previously, because I think they're in denial
mhm.
with their actions towards those who are of darker skin tone. So hopefully we'll see a change in that too. So we've seen a change in Robyn being held accountable. Giselle's attempting to be held accountable by opening up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well.
I think this season, but yeah, I think this season is definitely like, you have to bring it, or else you're on the chopping block. I think they did get that talk, because a lot of people have been talking about it for a while, that certain housewives don't share their life.
You ain't even got to say certain. Just say
I
it.
know.
It's
Giselle and Giselle.
Yeah.
Try to be really correct. But no, so it's just like, well, this is, again, if you don't really show improve this season, then you're off the chopping block, or you're demoted.
Yeah. Now we'll give Robyn credit though, because she has been open previously.
Yeah.
We just skipped out on this story. Whereas with Giselle, we get nothing.
We don't. But speaking of someone who we're getting nothing but something at the same time, let's go to Ashley.
What did you think about Ashley's new home?
I liked it.
Me
I
too.
liked it. I really liked
say that.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of homes, I really like Robyn's home. So let's just keep this thing going. Robyn has a nice interior going on, and Ashley has a beautiful interior going on. But continue.
Yeah, I love like the green or the blue like walls, make it more earthy. Like she said, it opens the house.
You know what it kind of reminded me of though? The beach house that they had in Delaware. In season 1. Was that season 1? That was season 1. No.
Yeah, season 1. It was season 1.
That was season 1. So I thought about that. And it was so adorable to see Dylan and Dean. Like, they're both so much taller. You know, Dean is out here talking and stuff. But I was so nervous because of the way that they kept climbing on them damn counters.
Yes, I thought they were gonna at first when he pulled them up, I thought he was gonna accidentally knock them over
or dislocate his damn shoulder trying to pick them up.
But it's funny when Ashley was mentioning too how she was saying how it's it's difficult because it's really all on me now. I'm a single mom. She also is a nanny. But I was thinking to myself, I feel like she was kind of already a single mom. I feel like she was doing most of the work anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And it could have contributed to postpartum is definitely a hormonal thing and chemical imbalance, and it really sucks. But I feel like when you don't, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm just saying from what they show on television, I don't feel like Michael was as supportive as he probably could have been or should have been to nurturing her postpartum. And so I do think that she might have felt isolated for a while now, that, this feels pretty much organic to her.
I feel like, after the kids, I feel like she was mostly on her own anyway. So, she's literally, that's her now, because they're separated, they're not divorced yet. But I mean, it's just because she talks about how in the last season, she talks about in the reunion how she didn't really get anything, or she didn't really get what she wanted. And now she's talking that she's getting child support, and Michael helped her with the down payment on the house.
Yeah. I mean,
the house was $2.2 million.
Yeah, but I heard that he's a millionaire, so really he probably could have paid for the house in full, and she could have just taken care of the property tax if she can keep up with it. Um, I
But
just,
can she?
huh?
I guess we don't know, but I wonder if she can, because like if she could, wouldn't her name be on the house? Like,
I'm kind of curious, unless she didn't have good credit or something. I mean, there's a lot of, it just sucks to
yeah.
have to depend on somebody else to make a
Mm-hmm.
living. Like, or not to make a living, but to live essentially. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do feel sorry for Ashley, but I'm relieved for Ashley at the same time. I'm sad because she didn't really secure the bag the way that we thought she would in
Yeah.
earlier seasons. Like, oh yeah, girl, you got it. And honestly, Michael has humiliated her. And so
Mm-hmm.
this whole Robyn Juan situation feels extremely familiar because we've seen it play out with Ashley in almost every
Mm-hmm.
damn season. And I'm just gonna say we'll talk about it later, but this seems like this is the first time where Ashley is finally admitting that she was protecting Michael in her marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy and relieved to hear her say that because I feel like for the longest she was playing in the viewers' faces as well.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. No, he wasn't doing that to that camera person. No, it's like okay.
Yeah, she just was always
Yeah.
in denial, or even like the hotel, because he had a hotel story too.
Mm-hmm.
And she found
Yeah.
a way to kind of twist that up. And again, it's like the PR marriage. Michael also has a
Mm-hmm.
very prominent job and is a prominent figure, I guess, in real estate. I don't know him because I'm not from Northern Virginia, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to protect his brand and his image. And
But I always wonder, like, I mean, is it's I his image is kind of tainted, but I guess as long as he's making money, then it doesn't matter.
he's in control of the narrative as much as possible.
Yeah. So
But, yeah. And I wonder if he paid off the cameraman.
Who knows?
Because I know that they had a court case, and then
Mm-hmm.
I guess he wasn't charged ultimately, but he probably I really don't know. This is all speculation. I genuinely don't know. I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Alleged.
Yeah, alleged. You know how in journalism school they would say that alleged was really just a condom, though? Did they tell you that? Maybe.
Yeah, I know they say it's used to protect you so you don't get like sued, or like the paper or whatever doesn't get sued.
Yeah, no. I had a professor. It was a TV reporter that's in Philadelphia now, but he always talked about how it's really just a condom word. So it's like, So anyways, we see Ashley catching up with Giselle on FaceTime on her beautiful, what do you call those, like porch swingy thingy? I can't think of it right now.
A porch swing? Is that
sure? Since you got your fucking degree, you know the goddamn thing. But yeah, and we find out that Grace, Giselle's eldest daughter, is in her final year of high school. And so she's going to be going to college. And then, they kind of bring up the fact that Michael and Ashley went to a vacation to the Bahamas to co-parent. What did you think about that?
I don't really understand the need for both of you to go on vacation when you're not together anymore.
Especially because, like, with the kids being super young, do you think they really care about the Bahamas like that? Like, you could have went to Virginia Beach for all of that,
Yeah, I don't really, because I've heard that other times too, where it's like, was it celebrities? I think it was it Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys and Mashonda would go on vacation together with the kids. I don't really understand that type of dynamic. Like, I don't think you have to spend time like that in that type of setting to like be good at co-parenting. It just takes communication.
I think that might be a little bit different though, because we have like, I think that might be a little bit more different because it is a co-parent of like a blended family.
I mean, I don't think it takes a vacation. I mean, I'm just saying, for me, I don't think you guys have to go on vacation together.
Yeah.
But in this case, I didn't really understand that. But again, I feel like Ashley, she's confusing me as well when it comes to this situation. I mean, she talks about how she is holding out. And I hope she has a new lawyer. Because remember, like last season, she was using Michael's lawyers. Like, I don't understand her plan. I don't get her mindset when it comes to this situation.
The part that's so crazy is that Ashley, while is young, she's not young, you know? And so I think that, and she's definitely an intelligent woman, but I feel like she's just made very dumb decisions in regards to her marriage with Michael and how she's kind of handled, you know, the separation and the prenup. And it is kind of shocking that she can't get alimony. And also, I could be making this up, but I could have sworn in previous seasons they had something set up that, like, if I feel like they had some type of marriage clause that she would be set up successfully financially in the event that they didn't work out their marriage.
But didn't she sign some type of paper saying that, like, it was related to the prenup, right? And she, oh my God.
But I thought there was like a clause on it, like after a certain amount of time, if we make it past, you know, or if we don't make it after a certain amount of, I don't know, but I really thought it was going to work in her favor. So.
But I think she signed it, like she ruined it, like by signing those papers.
It's like they're playing, maybe Michael's playing chess, not checkers. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rich man who has like a lot of resources at his disposal. Like, he's not just gonna, you know, give you.
I mean, he ain't dumb. He said, "All right, Cranky, if you think you're gonna get all my money," I really can't do an Australian accent, but I am a little disappointed that things were not. Yeah. She literally gave up her youth for him, and gave this man 2 children, and it's like, it's sad that she doesn't really have anything to show for it. But I do hope, which I'm pretty sure, that they are good, that her children are good. She said that in the reunion previously, like, my kids are going to be good. So I just wish that she had something as well, because again, she gave up the best. Yeah. I won't say the best time of her life. I won't say that, but I just feel like that time that she spent with Michael, she'll never get back, obviously. And I do feel like she's deserving of better, or any woman. I'm not just calling Ashley out. Robyn, that means you too. Okay. So then, you know, Ashley, because Giselle was asking Ashley, like, so, you know, are you guys divorced yet? And she was just kind of opening up about how Michael paid for a down payment on the home. He pays for child support, and they're still trying to work out, you know, other details with their divorce. But like the major things are out the way. They're just still trying to focus on the little things. And then Giselle tells her that she essentially wants to have an intervention with some of the girls for Robyn, because she feels like Robyn, she hesitated at first to call her delusional, and that word does pop up again, but for now she just said that it looks crazy.
Yeah.
Did you believe what?
Did I believe what?
Did you believe what Juan was trying to spit to Robyn? Like, do you think that anything that he was saying came off truthful or believable?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the only one that I feel like came out maybe truthful was the whole laundromat situation.
I agree with that. I felt like that might have a little bit of authenticity to it. But my only thing is, I hate to put myself out there like that, but when you spend time with your coworkers a lot, you know, and I'll just leave it there. But anyway, so then we move on to the next scene, and we're seeing Giselle in a whole different light. Because she's showing us her at her house, but instead of it just being her at her house with her daughters, having a round, you know, discussion about life, there's a man in the kitchen. And it's Jason from Winter House. I don't watch that show.
I think Winter House, and she says that they met when Ashley was dating one of the other cast members or something from that show,
and so she introduced them to each other. And he's 16 years her junior. What was that? Listen,
I'm just saying.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So she is like, I think she's like 52. So 16 years, she's 36.
Let me ask you, would you ever date an older woman?
I would not want to date someone who is 52. That is just kind of too much, to be honest. For me, I mean, I'm 30. I feel like the most I would want to go to is like 40, early 40.
I think that I wouldn't, but also we're, different sexes, but I wouldn't mind marrying a man in his 50s. Maybe right at 50. But he can't be childish, because for all of that, I can just date somebody within my own age, like. And he can't be creepy like Michael Darby either. He has to be more of like an Andy Cohen. Even though I know Andy Cohen's gay and it doesn't matter, but Andy Cohen just has like this sophistication about him. It would have to be
like a Denzel. Was that no? Okay.
Maybe like a Marlon Wayans.
What about like a Blair 50. Underwood?
No.
They
have to be older age but youthful spirit.
Okay.
And I think that Giselle, being the childish woman that she is, she definitely gives us youthful spirit. No, but Giselle does have a childish, and I mean that shady, but also genuinely, she does have a youthful spirit about herself. Like, she has a playful side, and we see that in this scene. And I already told you guys that I was going to bring up Kenya a few times. Kenya from Housewives of Atlanta. I hate to say it, but this was another boom Kenya moment. Because the chemistry felt stiff between the two of them.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel like I felt that way. I'm not gonna lie, I felt that way. But then it's like, am I thinking this way because I just don't care for Giselle? Or do I really believe that it's stiff? And like, when I'm watching, I feel like Giselle, though, is the type of person, she's not going to bring a man around her kids if it isn't something there.
Yeah. Besides the fun. I don't know, like, just seeing Giselle interact with men, and she's so beautiful. She is gorgeous. But there's just something stiff about her in general too. So I don't know if that's just her body language, but
I mean, I feel like, though, I do relate to Giselle in terms of, like, we all know that she's not the best for being very, vulnerable. Like, I think even if she likes someone, maybe it's not going to be in the way that's very, like, she's
not a PDA girly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one thing I can connect with her on. Like, I feel like, and she's not that type of person, but I want to say, personally, I think there is or was, I don't know if they're still dating, but it's something there, because again, I feel like she would not bring a guy around her children if there wasn't anything. Like, I think she does, like, she cares about what her daughters think.
I love her daughters, and I love when they get together. I've always said I think that Giselle's a phenomenal mom. But there was something that felt stiff about it. But I'm going to give it some time just to see, like, how the relationship plays out. But I'm just struggling to believe it. And I don't think it's the age difference that's doing it for me. And I was looking at some of the people on Twitter, and they were saying that they felt like he was giving nephew vibes more than anything.
I mean, well, he is, like, again, the 16-year age difference. So.
Yeah, and I don't know his personality either because I don't watch Winter House. So that might explain, like, why maybe he has a personality type that's very just stiff as well. I will say that I think that attractive men usually have zero personality. So, I don't know, but I was just like, But maybe if I see him in a couple more episodes and I kind of catch the vibe, I'm like, okay, I see it. But I am happy that Giselle is finally showing us something different. So we'll see. I mean, there was the moment where she fed him sushi, so maybe that was something.
And her daughter was there. I mean, again, I feel like there is something there. So
there's something there, but I'm still not. again, it's still early for me to tell.
Yeah.
But I do wish her the best in that.
Of
And
course.
I think that is good that she has her little boy toy. You know, it's kind of reminding me of like Tina Turner when she had her a younger man. So we'll see. But yeah, so then, you know, she was talking about how because this is Grace's last year in high school and she had her last spring break as a high school student, they went to Dubai and took beautiful photos. So that seemed really fun. And, you know, I was really excited when they did the confessional. I don't think they've ever done this before. You and I watched, I guess, The GOAT. I don't know the name of that show that's on Peacock, where like they go on vacations.
Oh, Ultimate Girls Trip.
I don't know where I got GOAT from. And like, you know how they were doing like the 2-person confessional. So I was really excited because we got to see Grace do a confessional with her mom. And I was like, oh, I really love that. And she is so shady and I'm here for it. Like, I really love Giselle's daughters because they're like hilarious. And they're like, Plus, what do you think about Jason? And she's like, like she didn't really have a thought, but I thought that was really cool. And it's so crazy because, you know, when I think of her daughters, I always think about when they were like in the kitchen baking cookies or baking something for Karen. So to see that they're like young little ladies now, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, but going to the next scene, I forgot this person existed, and when I went online, a lot of people forgot about them too. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. Just say it. I don't even
see. Exactly, Mia.
Oh yeah. Oh, I really did forget about her. Oh my god. Like, I was thinking the next scene was Candace and Chris at the picnic. Oh wow, okay.
And so you forgot twice, yeah.
No, but Mia, I think, was the next one. I just forgot about her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I forgot about her as well. And then when I looked at the hashtag for Real Housewives of Potomac, people were like, "Oh shit, I forgot that Mia's on the show." Like, I kind of did too. When Mia was first introduced to the Housewives, I liked her. But I did not care for her last season for sure. The way that she treated Wendy was just disgusting. And she just lies so much. And don't get me wrong, I always say this, I'm going to say it again, that I think what makes a great reality star is that you have to be delusional. But she's like on a different planet. Worse than the way
it's not even likable.
She's becoming so not likable. Did you feel sorry for her that her home had to be downsized?
I didn't, because they shouldn't be living above their means. It's clear that's what they were doing. I mean, if anything, I do feel bad in terms of like his brother screwing him over.
Yeah,
I mean, that
savings.
is messed up, though. I do agree with that because, you know, you wouldn't really think that, and maybe in that case, but like. It's clear, though, that they were also kind of living a lie. Remember, like, even last season, she talks about how they kept moving so many times. And then she talks about how the house that they were in were rented. And like, if you were really rich or wealthy, you would, like, own.
Yeah, that part I never understood. If you're spending the amount of money that you're spending on mortgage, like, for example, Ashley, she revealed, I think, last season that she was spending, $13,000 a month? But it's an actual real estate. Like, it's kind of an investment at the end of the day. But like, I don't even know if Karen owns. Does Karen own yet?
We don't even know. I feel like I don't even know.
I do find it kind of absurd. All in the name
I would assume at this point I would hope she owns a house or something, but who knows?
Actually, that is kind of crazy in her age and in Ray's age. Like, one thing about them ladies down at Atlanta, baby, they all own their own real estate. Even our girl that we don't know how she's affording it, Sheree. They all own their own property. And so, you know, you can clown, because I'm going to clown it a little bit. Not really. Giselle's, what'd she call it? I forgot what she calls her home.
I forgot.
Tacky manor or something. I don't
Oh
know.
my god, I forgot her. Oh, speaking of that, her house just irks my soul.
And that's why I was asking you earlier. What did you think about Ashley's interior? What did you think about? Like, I think Robyn has nice interior decorations. I think that the interior of Candace's home is beautiful. Like, I think that the women, they kind of bring it. They do bring it when it comes to the way that they furnish their homes and whatever. And Giselle just has her fashion sense is improved. I like it this season. She looks really good. Maybe hanging out with
This is the first episode. But yeah, I agree.
You're right. You are right.
No, but I mean, I will say I do like her backyard, like her, patio area.
There are elements of the home that I like, and I agree. I love her backyard, but it was awkward seeing them trying to like go down the steps, or not even steps, go down the slope. But we'll get into that too. But let's just get off of Mia real fast. So, you don't feel sorry for her. I get it. She was talking about, I guess she lied again because she brought up, she was like, and have you noticed? Well, no, I'm all over the place. They discussed the fact that G had been going through some depression because of the whole fallout with being ousted from, the joint franchise or whatever. And, kind of having to downsize. And the thing is, we all know, because anytime a woman marries an older man, you know why. It's for financial gain. It's because they have money. And so, without that money, does Gordon still have, like, this appeal to him?
No. I'm just going to be so upfront. No. Like you said, she married him for the money aspect, and he married her because, he wanted a pretty trophy wife.
Right. And so now, like, his identity has been changed because he no longer has the means to be able to be the guy that she met, providing and everything. And it's kind of sad, you know what I mean?
I mean, I feel bad for the kids having to deal with, like, moving from one place to, like, a smaller place, like that back and forth, is a lot on them.
Yeah, it's not stable, for sure.
Yeah, so I do feel bad for the kids.
I feel sorry for the kids, and I feel sorry for Gordon.
Yeah. So those are the only, people I feel.
Yeah, but he even said that he could tell that she didn't believe him. Because I guess she assumed that maybe he did something sketchy. He was talking about how, like, they did audits and he got people to do audits for him, and everything came out clean, allegedly, so we don't know. But I guess the last thing that I was going to bring up about Mia, and then we're going to get out of that delusional story, was that she was talking about how she had stopped alcohol. And he was like, I don't remember you telling me that. She's like, I did tell you that. And he was like, I guess he went on some trip, and she was like, you remember I stopped drinking or whatever? He was like, yeah, but then he had wine after that. But she alleges, because everything, I think anytime we bring up Mia and we're going to say what she said, we have to say she alleges, okay? But she alleges that the reason why she stopped drinking alcohol is because of one of her last interactions that she had with Karen.
Her delusions and lies have no bounds. Like, she really is just hard to root for and hard to keep up with. And I can't get into her.
Like I said, she put a bad taste in my mouth the way that she did Wendy. So I've been done with her since then. Who did she throw that salad at?
Candace.
Yeah, I don't like how she's a little bully. And then, the downfall of her relationship with her best friend or ex-best friend.
Yeah, oh my God, that was really messed up.
I think she let the clout of the show get in the way of her friendship with Jacqueline.
But I feel like that's also you can't trust someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so now let's jump into Chris and Candace. Any thoughts about that?
No, I already said it a few scenes ago, like several minutes ago, about like about the Robyn situation in terms of like how she felt and how she backtracked when they were at the reunion. I guess the only thing I have to say is that I guess it's nice to see Candace like explore her dreams and being, a singer and a performer. I do like that element, I think she has used this platform to her advantage pretty well.
I mean, unpopular opinion, but I've always said this and I'm going to stay 10 toes down. Candace is my favorite housewife. And honestly, Candace and Monique were my favorite housewives. And I really like their dynamic. And I hate that they'll never be friends again, probably. Like, you might as well put this in the same category of never seeing Phaedra and Candy be friends again.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that Monique and Candace and the dynamic of their friendship and the energy that they brought to the show really changed and evolved Potomac for the better, because it got them out of that superficial, in the rules of Potomac, rule number 1, a woman shall never allow someone to not sit in the middle of the table when it's her birthday.
The season of etiquette.
I'm going to give you this etiquette frame right here because I feel like I was so over that shit. And I really feel like they made the show feel fun and not so freaking, just, I don't know. I hate it.
Freaking ass.
Yeah, they were doing too much. But yeah, and I stand 10 toes down by saying this. Candace would be the only person on that show that I think would benefit or would actually have something to record in regards to having her own reality show, because of the fact that she has a secondary career in music and in acting, and she was going back to school. I don't know if she's still in school again, and she's trying to balance her marriage, and she's like, Candace keeps herself booked and busy. And so I think, and then you got the drama of her mother and the drama and the power dynamic between the mother and Chris. I think that she would make, I'm almost scared. I don't know if I would say for great television, but I think that she would be deserving of a spinoff, because they gave Kim Zolciak, or whatever the hell her name, they gave her one, and that bitch couldn't sing to save her life, but she had a whole show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So yeah.
And her baby, if she's gonna,
if
pregnancy.
She's ever, we can follow her fertility journey if she's comfortable sharing that. Like, I think that Candace would really benefit, and make it like a summer series, maybe like 10 episode something.
Yeah, like a limited summer reality series.
Yeah, I mean, she tours during the summer anyway, so
Candace on the road or something.
Yeah, or projecting or something. I don't know. Driving back, something.
You make me want to drive back.
I don't know the words. But yeah, so now we're getting to the final part of the show, where we see the intervention come together, and we see Charisse, which Charisse was probably the only chick that was able to get down Giselle's backyard. So she gets there first.
Giselle does need some steps.
She does.
Like, that is very uncomfortable, I can imagine. Like, and
also, according to Candace, she got ankles on her. So I would hate for her to injure them. Listen, Giselle, I'm not coming for you, because trust me, okay, I promise. But what I'm saying is, I do think for your safety, especially like you have daughters that are about to be going off to college, because Angel and Adore, is that her name?
Yeah.
They'll be next, and you're going to be there by yourself. So yeah, I think you really need to take into consideration investing in steps just for your safety, honestly. Or not even just your safety. If you have other people come over, then you might be held liable. They broke their shit on your property. So yeah, girl, invest in some stairs. But I do like her backyard. I agree with you. I like the little setup of them just sitting around. She had the nice little fire. What do you call it? Fire pit.
That's probably the only part of the house I really like. Like, just the outside of the house, just a mix of types of structures.
It's definitely eclectic.
Yeah.
Well, she has a nice closet too. I've seen that, and I really like
she does have a nice closet. So the closet and the backyard are probably the only
the
decent
highlights of the home.
spaces. I don't like the all white in her kitchen.
I don't mind it. But it's the way that you decorate it. And so, with her. Actually, I saw something recently that said that, like, if you're ever trying to sell a home, like, people usually like to see all white kitchens.
Really? I guess so they can imagine what they would do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't ever want the home to look too personalized, and unfortunately, she had to sell that house today. I don't know, sis. But jumping back into it, so as I was telling you, Charisse was the first person to arrive to this intervention, and she walked down the little slope, no problem. I wouldn't even thought that there was a problem if I didn't see Ashley struggling next to get down there. And she started talking about the house. Do you remember the shots that she was firing?
I don't. There was so much. What was she saying?
I don't remember either, but I feel like she was throwing some shots and was talking shit about that house. And then, Giselle was saying that, like, Charisse and Ashley and herself have all been through similar situations and issues of infidelity and denial and all of the above when it comes to their past relationship. And so I guess they just wanted to, she thought it would be a good idea that if anybody could talk to Robyn or at least try to get through to her quote unquote delusions, it would be them. Do you have any thoughts about just knowing that they both have been through what they've been through? Do you think that they would be like a good support system for Robyn?
I do. I think I really enjoyed this scene because I feel like I do think it's coming from a good place. It kind of, I know I said this when we did season 1. There was a scene where Charisse was talking about her issues, and I said this reminded me of Destiny's Child, Girl. The video. So this kind of also reminds me of that, but 2.0, since it's, it's happening again.
And it's funny because I literally thought about that scene as well. Not Destiny's Child, but the scene that made us think about Destiny's Child. And so, of course, they did do a flashback to that. And I was also appreciative because, again, I'm going back to the feedback that I know the show was getting last season. And you remember the big criticism of Charisse was like, why is she here? Like, she didn't really bring much last season until towards like the very last minute when she was trying to throw Karen under the bus and alleging that she had an affair going on and she was fucking somebody in the bathroom or something. But, Charisse became vulnerable again.
Yeah.
And it felt like her presence wasn't a waste of time. So it was nice to see. I got like a glimpse of old school Charisse.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was nice. And before Ashley finally admit that she went through the same thing, I was thinking to myself, Ashley, why you got so much to say, bitch? Because, you done been through it. But then she did open up. And I was like, okay, good.
And remember, she tried to tell Robyn about this seasons ago. And, she wasn't listening. Or she got mad at her. Yeah, because she was saying that? She was hesitant to, like, want to talk about it.
She knows how Robyn gets when you try to get in her business.
So then eventually Robyn does arrive. And then that's when they all kind of just talk about what's going on and saying, like, are you okay? Because we don't feel like you're happy right now. And it's just all this stuff that's going on with Juan and the women in the hotel. And it's like, are you really believing the stuff that's coming out of his mouth and what he's saying? And then Robyn's like, well, no, I mean, look, we talked about it. Like, it really isn't that big a deal. Like, we've moved on. So I don't, basically just kind of ignoring the issue, I feel, and just saying, okay, that happened, so we're fine. We're just dealing with it now. And then the ladies are like basically saying like, no, none of this just makes sense. And, each of them tells their story of like the infidelity that happened in their marriage. And honestly, with Charisse, though, I like the fact she did open up about that because I don't remember her actually actively saying that her husband had other relationships. She didn't.
I don't remember her talking about infidelity. She just only said that the marriage had been done for 3 years.
Yeah. So for her to actually talk about, talk about it. Like, there were relationships that were happening in my marriage, and then like he just decided to and he just ended up leaving.
I almost think, as you're telling me this, that what we saw were stages of, I don't know what I want to, I'll tell you what I'm trying to say, and then maybe you'll think of what I'm trying to, like, what word I'm thinking of. But you have Ashley, who's in like the newly acceptance stage of her marriage is not working. And she's doing some self-reflection where she's like, you know what? I have been giving him a lot of grace, and I have been out here trying to protect his image and, whatever. So she's just newly and freshly out of that. Now, when we saw Charisse years ago on the show, and she didn't really tell us the issue was infidelity and stuff. And you remember she was just like Robyn, because you remember she was in denial and she was pretending like her marriage was all good. And then she eventually had a breakdown because she kind of like let it slip. Like, actually, we're doing awful. So I think that where Charisse was back then, that's where Robyn currently is. Where it's like you're trying to protect your marriage. And Ashley had been there too. But I think Charisse is at a place where she can say, oh, it was infidelity. Even though it's still a tender spot for her, and she even said that. I think that because over time, she's allowed herself to heal, to do a lot of self-reflection and everything. That's why she's able to discuss, oh no, he cheated on me. Where she couldn't really say that before.
Yeah.
So it's like, instead of stages of grief, it's stages of, I don't know if I want to say infidelity, or stages of post divorcee. I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but I do think that they all represent certain stages of what it looks like to be separated from, a spouse.
Yeah. And like Giselle talks about that, as we know, Jamal, in her words, was a cheater, pumpkin eater.
All day long.
And,
even she opened up and said that a woman had reached out to her.
Which I wasn't aware, or maybe I just missed it, but
again, production, I think, might have been holding them accountable. If not production, then Andy.
Yeah, so she talks about, the woman told her, and that's when she just was like, I'm done. So I get what you're saying, like each woman represents like a part of I guess like a stage of a relationship that's crumbling.
Ooh.
Or
a stage of acceptance, maybe.
Okay. That's, yeah. And I think for Robyn, it's like, I can empathize with her in some ways. Like, I think for Robyn, there is just so much history there. There's I have two things. So I think for Robyn, there's a lot of history there with Juan. Again, they know each other since they were teenagers. And also, her family kind of also raised him.
Which is why it's crazy that he would do that, right?
Yeah. But then I also think, so she just, I feel like I've been connected with him so long. It would be just so hard for me to let him go. Plus, we have 2 kids. I mean, to be honest, I don't even think the kids are really the factor in why they're together. I think it's just her wanting to maintain that relationship with him because she's so...
It's comfortable. It's familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other hand, I just think she's someone, like you said, also on the other hand, I think she's also someone who maybe it's just like, it's better to have a man than no man at all.
But she can get a man. I don't think that Robyn would.
That's what I'm saying. She's an attractive woman. I mean, she's smart. It's like she does have stuff going on for herself.
Right.
I just think, like you said, I think she's just comfortable with Juan, and she doesn't want to really have to go through that process of probably dating again or being lonely. So she's like, okay, then I'll just stick with what I got.
Yeah, and it sucks though, because but I think about the fact that, like, when we first were introduced to Robyn in season 1, Robyn was in a situation where financially she was trying to get her life back together because of a friend, who took advantage of both herself and Juan. So I kind of feel like they needed to be together for financial support. But I think that she's gotten her... I think she owed the IRS money in one of the seasons, but I can say I feel like for the most part, they're doing well again.
Yeah, I mean, she built a house. They built a house, so... Yeah.
Again, life is short. One thing I respect about Giselle is that she knew to step away, even with children.
Mm-hmm.
And she figured it out on her own as a single mother.
Mm.
And I do think, and don't get me wrong, y'all know I'm not team Giselle nor Robyn.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sit here and not give a woman credit when they don't deserve it. Giselle has been a phenomenal single mother because she figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she knew, like, I'm not going to stay in a situation that it's not benefiting me. It's also hurting me.
Right.
And also my children, because they know, they know what's going on. And I think that's one thing I don't like, when people try to use kids in situations to justify them staying in
a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
I almost want to say, though, if Robyn had 2 daughters, would she still do everything that she's doing today?
I think so. Because I think it's just, again, I don't even think it's about the kids. It's about her and, like, her and Juan, like, that connection she feels with him, like that. Like, I think she's, what's the word?
Comfortable, complacent.
Comfortable, trauma bonded. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of the reason why she's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, I feel like if she was on the outside looking in and hearing this, she'd be like, oh, that's ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous.
She was a little defensive, but she was receptive, and she did ultimately appreciate what the women had to say.
Mm-hmm.
It went a little bit better than what I expected. But when she was telling them, what do y'all want me to do? What do you think the answer would be to that? To just leave Juan?
Honestly, I think that's what they wanted to say, but, like, they're not going to say it because they know it's going to, make her mad.
And if not leave him, how do you hold him accountable?
How would you hold him accountable? Like, that's a good question. Like, I don't even, like, how would she hold him accountable?
I can't say because I ain't got no man and I ain't never been in no situation like this before, but I'm sure that there is a way to, like, I don't know if they're going to counseling. I think they might have mentioned counseling, but I don't know. It's just something is missing out of that relationship.
Yeah.
And it just felt so put on. And sometimes I think that Juan lets his real self slip out on camera sometimes because he tries to pretend to be something or appear one way that you can tell is not really authentic, is his representative that he's putting on camera. Because, she had mentioned to him in the beginning scene that she mentioned the situation on the podcast, and I felt like real Juan had slipped out for a second. He was like, I told you not to bring that up on the podcast,
Yeah. Well, remember, his real self slipped out too in Mexico. Remember when she called him? He went off. Yeah.
Yes, I do. That's what I'm saying.
It's just, it's an unfortunate situation. And again, like, I don't think, none of us are really, like, big Robyn fans, but, like, I think just outside the show and just seeing this situation like this is kind of like, damn, like.
And what's even another damn moment is that I was just thinking about it because she was like, the world ripped away her happiness, and she was like saying that it's not Juan's fault, but they're like, it is Juan's fault.
It is, yeah.
And they were like, he didn't pay attention to the optics of what things would look like.
I think it's like he doesn't care because he knows Robyn's gonna be there. Like, I think that's just his mindset. Like, no matter what I do, she's gonna be there. Like, she's gonna deal with it, and, like.
But does he even really want her though? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I don't. Honestly, just based on what we've seen these 8 seasons. No, I don't know. Like, I don't think, not at this point, no.
The only person I feel like has an authentic relationship is Wendy and her man.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Ashley, especially the first season, I feel like she and Michael, it felt very authentic. And maybe even Chris and Candace as well.
I mean, I feel like Chris and Candace and Wendy and Eddie love each other.
Happy Eddie, yeah. And you know why I know?
No, I'm just saying, I feel like Karen and Ray love each other, but I do think they have an agreement.
I think they definitely have an agreement. I I think the reason why you can tell that Candace genuinely loves Chris is because when they get the fighting, that's that love, that's that tension, that's, you know, and the way that Eddie has shut Wendy down when she wanted to put all that money into investing with Peter. Like, that's how you can tell that's a real marriage right there, you know what I mean? But it's just this phony shit that they keep showing us on television between Robyn and Juan. I'm not buying it. But yeah. Well, I know that we kind of went over, but that's okay because this is definitely the first episode of this season. But I do want to ask you what we always ask, which is number one. Actually, I don't know. Do we ask about the winners or losers first, or do we ask to rate the episode?
Winners or losers.
All right.
That's what we do.
Who are your winners? Who are your losers?
I don't have any winners.
Same.
My loser would be Robyn and Juan.
Damn. I almost was just thinking about Robyn, but yeah. I think I'm just going to put Juan there. If I had to rate between who's the number one loser, is definitely Juan.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Runner-up, Robyn.
And then the thing about Robyn is, too, it's like, I think, you know, we can have empathy for the situation. But then at the same time, she was the same one that was also throwing other people under the bus last season about their stuff. And not even just, especially with the Candace. Like, I think that was really annoying because it's like, this is someone that, again, you guys are really close. And I didn't know they were that close until they actually talked about it. But it's just kind of like not just backtracking in terms of the whole Chris situation at the reunion, but even on the show, when you got like your speaker or something you put at the table and like aired her context. Yeah, and it's just like, why? It's like, why?
And clearly you're not a real friend to I think that Candace has been way more loyal to Robyn than she was, you know, the other way around, because all she had to do was call or text Candace and be like, girl, is there a problem? Because I didn't really care for this live. You gonna put them all on blast. She was corny as fuck for that.
And that's all I kind of, I feel like in a way I do feel bad. Because I do think Candace, though, has been trying to build some type of genuine friendship with Giselle. Remember when she when they came on, but again, that fizzled because Giselle.
It's a Giselle problem because she colorist and she don't know.
Yeah. And then with Robyn too, she built that with Robyn, that fizzled. It's like.
And Robyn's going to follow the leader, you know.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah. So Robyn and Juan are losers this episode. Yeah. No winners, because there was no standouts. It just started.
I'll give Karen winner just for how she looked, just off of aesthetics. Girl, you did that.
Well, we can say that, yeah.
You did that, honey. Like, I don't know if it's Botox. I don't know if it's fillers. I don't know if it's new wig line. I don't know. But Karen, honey, the skin looked good as hell. Like, she does not look 59. Like, she looked good. She really did.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you rate this first episode of this new season?
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think we're setting up a lot in terms of what's gonna happen in the seasons coming. I just hope that the season is good. You know, because I thought the same thing last season with the first episode. I liked it, and then it just kind of went downhill. So I hope to be proven wrong this time around.
If they can just focus on movement and progression in each episode versus like sticking to the same damn topic, I think that they'll do fine. I think I've had to learn, like I said, in order for me to enjoy a show, is to not watch the blogs as much as I possibly can about spoilers. I don't mind like learning about what's actively happening. Like, okay, after I watch this episode, I'll probably do some deep dives just to see what like everyone else is saying. But I don't want to know anything beyond the first episode. Like I said, I don't even know what the taglines are, and I know that they're out. But just for my own entertainment, I would like to have a genuine reaction when I see it on my television screen live. All right, well.
That wraps up this episode of Messy RealiTea Breakdown, the podcast where we break down our favorite reality shows in the name of fun, shade, and a splash of messiness. Follow us on IG at Messy RealiTea, that's TEA Breakdown. Also, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just also like and comment because it just helps us grow. And thank you all for listening. Catch you next week.
Bye-bye.